we are here to talk about the crisis on the Northern Gold Coast in relation to services for the Northern Gold Coast, and of course ultimately they will be delivered by a Northern Gold Coast hospital. I asked the Treasurer last Friday at Estimates where the money was for the planning for the Northern Gold Coast Hospital at Estimates. He could not answer the question. He did not answer the question. I said, well, Treasurer, it was an election promise and yet you've had two budgets and there's not $1 for anything to do with the Northern Gold Coast Hospital. Story in the paper today related to planning that's been going on, preliminary planning that's been going on, just line drawings on paper in relation to what we might need sometime in the future. It's time for us to properly plan for a Northern Gold Coast hospital. We need $10 million to do that in the first instance, and then we need to get on and build the darn thing, not just keep on talking about it and selling sizzle to the Northern Gold Coast community.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what's happening here this morning?
What's happening here this morning is we have a group of people that have been invited along, and it's been a broad invitation list. In fact, we had more people wanting to come than COVID would allow us to have, and these people are here to talk to Ros Bates as our health shadow, and of course David Crisafulli, to find out from them what their real issues are here on the Northern Gold Coast, but in relation to their health in particular.
Michael, what sort of issues are they bringing up? Is it access to the ED? Is it surgery? What are their main complaints?
Well, Ros touched on it a short while ago when she talked about how many patients are going through the Gold Coast University Hospital ED every day. And that is one of the issues. So people are finding it difficult to even get there. I know in just recent times one of my close family needed to go to hospital and they were diverted from Gold Coast University Hospital because of the ramping crisis that's been going on there. That's just continuing on and on and on. But the other things that we have are those secondary support health issues, so that if someone, for example, needs to have some sort of radiation treatments, and they don't have transport, well, it's a 4-hour round trip for the buses to come up, the specialised buses to come up, collect them and take them back down. And the point's been made by the people that run those buses that they can move 4 or 5 other patients closer to Gold Coast University Hospital in the same amount of time. It's very, very time consuming and costly for them, and yet we don't have any of those services here on the Northern Gold Coast.
Can I just get what you established at Estimates? You established that the government has $3 million in funding to plan the new hospital here at Coomera. Do you have a timeline, do you think, when they can put that hospital in place? Because it's a $160 million development, as I understand it.
Well, first of all, look, I'm happy to clarify the $160 million that came out just before the election, in fact the 19th of October. That $160 million announcement related to Gold Coast University Hospital, $111 million, Robina Hospital at about $5.7 million. It turned out that of the $160 million that they were talking about, $40 million for a satellite hospital down the southern Gold Coast. Of the $160 million, they were talking about $3 million for the Northern Gold Coast for planning only. And that has not appeared in either the last budget or the budget before. It is simply not a line item. It is not a priority for this government. And it's about time they got on board and did something about it. And it's not about a spend of $160 million. This is a spend of something like $1 billion to $1.2 billion. We're talking about a hospital here, a serious piece of kit, like the Sunshine Coast Hospital, which I think ran out at around about $1.2 billion. But we have to get the initial $10 million to get the planning happening, and that is not in the budget.
So do you think the reality is that you've got a population in the fastest growing suburb, say of more than 80,000 people, that possibly won't see a hospital for another decade?
In my estimation, we will be lucky to see a hospital within a decade. We will be very fortunate if we see one within a decade, and there's certainly no money anywhere in any budget item in relation to a Northern Gold Coast hospital.
Any other issues, guys? We've got to get cracking.